So Hillary Clinton giving her testimony before the House Select Committee on Benghazi. That's going to continue, and we're going to have more video probably tomorrow in the first hour. But we want to give you initial preview.
How many days is she supposed to, just today and tomorrow? Is it?
I believe it's the 2 days, but I am sure there's the possibility that they could try to bring her back, although she is clearly a busy woman. We want to give you a preview of some of the things that she said, some of the little explosions that happened. First here, she's showing how fiery she's going to be. She's almost using this, I think, as an opportunity to show that she's strong, that she's a leader, that she's not going to back down, even when faced by the Republican leadership of this panel. And here she is speaking with Jim Jordan.
I'm reading what you said. Plain language. We know the attack in Libya had nothing to do with the film. That's as plain as it can get. That's vastly different than vicious behavior justified by internet material. Why didn't you just speak plain to the American people?
I did. If you look at my statement, as opposed to what I was saying to the Egyptian prime minister, I did state clearly, and I said it again in more detail the next morning, as did the president. I'm sorry that it doesn't fit your narrative, Congressman. I can only tell you what the facts were.
So not backing down there. There was a similar back and forth where she was referring to her notes at one point, and so sort of mockingly the Republican who was speaking to her said, I can give you time if you need to confirm your story in the notes. And she said, no, I think I can manage your condescension and my notes at the same time.
Oh,
which that's a good line.
Yeah,
That's a good line. And there were various back and forths of that sort. I mean, she's not going to back down, but in terms of making the case, again, that this is political, that this is nonsense, and when we say political, we don't just mean that they're trying to win an election. We expect that they'll do that, but that they're willing to use faux outrage and concern for the victims of this terrorist attack to do it. That they don't actually care about that the way that they say that they do. They care about destroying Hillary Clinton. But in terms of making that case, she largely has allowed other Democrats to do so. And so when they've spoken, they've made clear that this is an unnecessary investigation, that she's being unfairly targeted, pointing out that there's been a number of other investigations and things of that sort.
Remember this about the Clintons. Historically, they're at their best when the right wing in Congress attacks them. It was true of Bill. Here it is. It's true of his wife. This is when they're strongest. This is, that's what I think, I see that as a huge plus for her that sets her likely. She's not going to be spending political capital reaching out across the aisle, wasting time, offering olive branches that apparently Barack Obama legitimately thought were going to be accepted because some of them were accepted by John Boehner.
That's true.
And then shot down by his party. She's not, she knows, they know, they'll fight. I think in the long run, that's going to make the country better, stronger. I think it's going to make legislation better and stronger. But I don't know. But that is a plus for her that I think that progressives overlook. Like they want some of their frustration with Obama not fighting. She'll fight. She may not fight for everything that you want, but she'll fight.
Yeah, and I think that so far, if you're a Democrat, in that respect, the election is looking pretty good because Joe Biden is not going to be running, and in his speech where he said he wasn't going to be running, he attacked this stance that she has and implied that they're not our enemies, we should be working together. He very much was confirming the strategy that I had hoped Obama had gotten rid of, but at the very least, Biden still seems to accept. But neither Bernie nor Hillary seem likely to waste a lot of time doing that. In the end, the end result may look very similar because if you've got Paul Ryan or Webster or whoever as the Speaker of the House, you might effectively get nothing through the House. But I doubt that you'll get anything more or anything that you actually want if you simply give it away the way that in many cases Barack Obama did.
So that's Trey Gowdy today. This picture struck me because I think it's always rare when there's a photo of Elijah Cummings of Maryland and he has better hair than the guy next to him. I mean, Trey Gowdy, you can Google Trey Gowdy's hair. There's some photos of Trey Gowdy online. This guy literally has never gotten a good haircut his entire life.
I think that if you're going to try to hide a triangular head, that's one way to do it.
He is, that's true. I mean, but he has some wretched haircuts. I recommend every American Google Trey Gowdy. Get this poor son of a bitch a barber. He reminds me of like what happens when those punk kids from the teenage John Hughes era movies grow up. So we found some of those. I'm not sure we have the right James Spader movie because James Spader, I mean, that hair is going to get you laid. It just is.
I have never. That's the coolest he's ever looked.
It is the coolest he's ever looked.
I like James Spader.
That's pretty in pink. But if you took James Spader from Less Than Zero, like
I've never seen that.
Like, oh, Less Than Zero is really good. I mean, it's terrible, but it's really good. So that's like, and then Malfoy, obviously. I mean, the similarities between.
Get a DNA test, because
and you wouldn't want to get questioned at a congressional hearing by Malfoy.
No.
And then finally, the guy from
oh, definitely
from Karate Kid.
Also James Spader.
also nearly James Spader. Anyway, that's Trey Gowdy.
Yeah, Trey Gowdy. Yeah.
So we now know what happens to those kids.
They grow up and
they become bullies in Congress.
Exactly, influential congressmen. So encourage it. The pay's good, I hear. You don't do it. You do a lot of damage to your country, but you have a good pension.